Yes, welcome to the series on the train limitations to getting those dreams fulfilled. I am Phoebe Christian, the founder and CEO of Standard Consulting and Media Solutions Limited. Today, we'll be taking the second video and on the second point in the acronym TRAIN. So, what does R stand for? But before we go into that, in our last video on this series, the train limitations to getting those dreams fulfilled, I talked to you on the limitation of time management. So if you missed the video, you can click the link in the description to watch it. Now, in this video today, I want to talk about the second factor in the acronym TRAIN limitations, that is train limitations. And that factor is resources, where R stands for resources. Now remember that each video in this series is scheduled to last not more than 15 minutes. And today we have quite a lot to talk about in those points, resources. So I'm going to try my best to be fast enough to meet the time of 15 minutes and still deliver hot value to you. So now let's delve into the factor of resources as a limitation to getting your dreams fulfilled and some solutions to it. Resources. Now, when we talk about resources in the context of goal setting and fulfillment, we refer to a variety of things used to solve a problem or a need, such as financial resources, personal resources, equipment or material resources, tech, and so many others. Now, absence or insufficiency of these resources can become a limitation. They can become a limitation to fulfilling your goals, a limitation to someone fulfilling his or her dreams. Now, because these resources are necessary to complete a task or to reach a milestone, the adequacy of your resources can greatly impact the success of your goals, either positively or negatively. Are you getting me? Now, how can resources be a limitation to fulfilling goals? This is what we want to talk about and then provide solutions. There are very many resources, but I want to see how I can hit 3 points out of the long list of resources. I want to see if I can hit the 3 points I have with me. Now, the first point is financial constraints. Yes, I say that again. Financial resources. Financial resources as a constraint. We also have limited personnel resources. Limited personnel resources is also a constraint. And then we also have lack of equipment or materials. I don't know if I'll be able to cover these three. There are so many of them, but I want to talk about these three first of all. I don't know if I'll be able to address all of them, but let's just go. Let's see how far we can go. Now, the first one, financial resources as a constraint. You see, lack of funds can limit the fulfillment of your goals. For instance, a startup business needs some funding. The same way getting some formal education will also need funding. I'm just mentioning that, of course, there are so many other things that need finance. Okay, and that is why finance is also a limitation to fulfilling your dreams. So we all know the saying that all fingers are not equal. Now, while some persons may have access to all the funds they need to get their dreams realized, some others may have to struggle to get theirs realized, and sometimes they are just not able to even do that. But do you know that there is a way to address this problem or challenge, anyone you want to call it? Of course, every problem has a solution, and we are going to provide some solutions to this first point. Number one is you need to increase your income. Okay? You need to increase your income. Doing that is one way to solve this problem or challenge. So you can fight this limitation again by increasing your income. Seek additional employment. Start a side hustle. Join support groups or funding groups where groups where you make contributions maybe every week or every month. Join those groups. Those groups will also help you increase the income you make, increase your funds. Remember, the goal is to increase your funds. That is the goal in this area, financial resources, to be able to fight this constraint of financial resources. One way, like I've said, is to increase your income. So in this point, the goal is to increase your funds so that you can attend to more financial needs towards fulfilling your dreams. So do your best, find ways to increase your income. Look around you. What can you do? Okay, what are the things you can do to build your income? What are the side at what side hustles can you do to increase your income? What other things, what funding groups are there for you to join to make contributions, little contributions and little funds you get, you can add them, okay, to the contribution group and increase your fund so that when it is your turn, of course, you will make more than what you may even have that period. So the second solution I'll prefer to you is you need to reduce your expenses already. You know that you have constraints with finances. So it shouldn't be a time for you to spend lavishly. It shouldn't be a time for you to spend without restrictions or without considerations. You need to reduce your expenses. Cut down on those expenses. Purchase only those things that are important and urgent first. You could also find more affordable alternatives to those things you want to buy where necessary. If those things you want to buy have other alternatives that are still good and can still be used, then you go for those alternatives if they are cheaper for you. That way you will save more for yourself and use the remaining fund to do something else. The third thing I'll mention, the third solution I'm going to give you here is what you need to also build a target savings fund. You see, many people don't have savings, including business owners. So you need to save towards a target. You need to save towards a target. Now, knowing, of course, like I've said, knowing that you may not even be able to easily generate money or pull out funds easily for any task or project you want to do, then it should make you consider saving towards a target. Consider what? Saving towards a target, otherwise what I call target savings, which you save that money only for something and you only use that money for that target you have set. I do that. In fact, currently I have some that are running for a period of, so they are different. I have different targets I'm saving for. There are different targets I'm saving for, and some of them are about to be materialized. So this way, building target savings, even the rich do this. How much more those who are struggling to get financial resources? So again, let me say it again, that you need to build a target savings fund. I'm trying to be fast and still give you value and be able to meet up with target time of 15 minutes. So it could be that you're saving, your target for saving is for education or for personal development or for your business branding or business advertisement or to purchase more equipment for your office and other things. Save, know what you want to save for and save towards that. This will help you cut down on unnecessary spendings. So thankfully we have been able to address the first point in today's topic. Now let's go to the second one, which is what limited personnel resources. Remember what we're talking about, limitations towards getting those your dreams fulfilled, limitations to getting those dreams that you have for yourself as an individual or for your business, your organization, your company, getting them fulfilled. Now, the second point again is what? Limited personnel resources. Now, Personnel refers to what? Individuals who are responsible for executing some specific work in an organization. I say that again. Personnel refers to individuals who are responsible for executing some specific work in an organization. Now, they could include employees, interns, contractors, volunteers, etc. Anybody is going to execute specific duty, specific work in your organization to provide you with with the target you have for your company is your personnel. Now, personnel, of course, contribute to the completion and success of your company's project or goal. Now, knowing what personnel means and understanding their impact in an organization, because they are very helpful to the growth and development and success of an organization, you will know that having them, when they are limited, it can cause you or your company a limitation in getting the dreams, the company goals fulfilled. Having limited personnel limits you from taking up new projects, coming up with and also executing initiatives towards fulfilling your organization's dreams. So, how do you tackle or solve this problem of limited personnel? How do you solve it? Number one, you have to understand the areas in your company or your organization that needs personnel. That is one. Understand the areas that need personnel in your organization. The second thing you will then do is what? Decide your budget for employing these personnel. You have to decide your budget. What can you afford for such? Your answer to this point is going to lead you to the next question. Next thing to consider. Then after that, what next do you do? Based on the budget you have for this, you will now consider the type of personnel that you need or that you can afford. So this could be, like I mentioned before, it could be volunteers, interns, contract staff, part-time staff, or full-time staff. So depending on your budget, you will know if your budget can afford just volunteers. Of course, volunteers, you may not even necessarily need to pay them. Or you may, if you're paying them, you won't pay them as much as you pay a part-time staff or a full-time staff. It could be it could even be contract staff, someone that you just need to contract within a period of time, probably within or during Christmas, for Christmas sales. When you know that you're going to have an increased demand for your service or your products. Maybe it could be during the Valentine season or the Easter period or Christmas or New Year, and then you need to contract persons just to work for you during this time, depending on your budget. Now, when you have done all this, you need to then send out vacancy adverts targeted at this time. Don't just send it open. If not, you get applications from even those you cannot afford to pay. So send out your vacancy adverts targeted at just the type of personnel that you need within your budget, and what? Hire the best. Hire the best. So there are personnel for every kind of budget. There are personnel for every kind of budget, so that you'll be able to get the best for yourself and still not spend much. So let's go on to the last point. Thankfully, we are able to cover the three of them. So let's go on to the last point within the next 2 minutes. And the last point is what? Lack of equipment or material resources. This is also a limitation. This is a limitation to achieving your goals. Now, not having the adequate equipment to complete your goals can slow down your progress and prevent your dreams from being fulfilled. Now, some factors that could contribute to having insufficient equipment or materials could include cost of equipment and materials, of course. The cost could prevent you from getting them, or lack of access to advanced equipment or materials that your company needs. Your company may need a certain kind of material or equipment for more productivity, but because it is either not available or it is limited, you won't be able to have access to it, or it may not even be in your country at the moment. And another factor could also be high demand and low supply for equipment or materials. It could be that there is a very high demand. If many people are rushing for a particular equipment or material, and yet there is a low supply of those materials. So you see that you have limitations in these areas. You'll be limited, you suffer limitation to getting them. Now, in this case, what do you do? Let's talk about this within the next 30 seconds or thereabouts. So number one solution to this is what? Rent equipment. If there are equipments you currently cannot afford, why not rent them? Of course, renting will be cheaper, so rent them. Or you can also consider partnering with other individuals or businesses to exchange materials and equipment. You could have some materials or equipment that another business does not have, and vice versa. So look for those kind of businesses and partner with them so that you can, do what we call trade by barter. You can use theirs, and then they can use yours. Highest, you can just make some terms and conditions for that kind of partnership. Then the last thing I'll also talk about, because we are already past 15 minutes, is what? Using equipment and materials that could render similar services like the ones you find difficult getting. Now, this solves the problem of needing certain equipment or materials that may currently not be in your locality. So if you are experiencing that kind of thing, you can just look for equipment or materials that can still render similar service or services to you, like the ones you are finding difficult getting. So much time spent on this subtopic. In our next video, we'll address another limitation to getting your dreams realized. What do you think would be that limitation? Looking at the acronym we are studying. So have you signed up for our 4 weeks goal setting coaching program? You need to do that. Look, you'll find on the screen the benefits, beautiful benefits. Send us a message, and then you get yourself or your ward or colleague enrolled and enjoy the beautiful ride for 4 weeks towards setting goals that are achievable, and having another experience altogether with goal setting. See you next time.